That's awesome. But considering the future success, I know it's important to individual entrepreneurs to define what their own success is and define what their own future is. So, can you give a little insight about your future, the longevity of the company? Talk a little bit about, the actual business base, what type of business you are. I'd imagine, I don't think you're a sole proprietorship, are you? Or is that are you a sole proprietorship, or what are you?
We're a C Corp.
A C Corp. Okay, so define that a little bit about the actual style of your business. The C corporation aspects and the longevity of it, where you plan to go.
All right, I'm going to back up a little bit to the radio days in order to explain that. We operated the radio station for 4.5 years. When we put the station on the air, the telecom bill was in the future, and duopoly, where radio stations could double up in an individual market, was just being passed. So we were in an established market in Indianapolis with the radio station, but we were increasing, our competition was increasing, and then as the telecom bill passed, one owner could have up to 8 stations in a market the size of the Indianapolis metropolitan area. So as a standalone station, we couldn't compete. I bought the magazine in order to combo with the radio station. But when the telecom bill passed and stations were adding to their group, everyone was trying to buy my station. I was the standalone station to add to their group, and it was a very good financial move for me to do that. So with the magazine moving forward, we've grown that. I mentioned we're in the 16th year in publishing that. We want to be in as many cities outside of the market as possible in the next 5 years. Now, there will be several unwind opportunities. I do have shareholders and a board of directors, and I, at that point, am going to phase out. And there are a number of unwind opportunities, and I'm not clear at this point just which one will be the most advantageous. So that decision isn't made. But the magazine will be a very good strategic purchase for any company with multiple magazines wanting the cities that we're in. Our staff is absolutely superb. I think you can see behind me the awards on the wall. We win most of the Society of Professional Journalists Awards, professional communicators, and our staff is wonderful. And it's a pleasure for me to be able to say that to you.
Okay. Last 2 comments, and then we'll finish up with whatever you will have to say too, if you want to add anything else in. What does entrepreneurism, in its totality, mean to you?
What is entrepreneurialism?
Yeah. What does it mean to you? I think it has a definition to a point, just like so many other things, and it has 2 or 3. What does it mean to you when you hear the word?
I love being creative. I love working with creative people. Someone gave me a chance. My first job, I was 40 years old and I'd not worked before, and I interviewed for a position at a radio station, and they interviewed people who were so much younger than I was at the time, a lot of experience, but they kept coming back to me, and the person who was hiring for that position in sales, radio advertising sales, said to me that he kept coming back to me because he liked my heart, he could teach me what I needed to know about radio, and I had, in his opinion, the most potential. I think it is so important to believe that you have the potential. And when someone tells you that, when you're in a tough situation, it keeps coming back to you that someone believed you had the most potential. So I think if I can say to you something that you could take and internalize and be empowered by it, it's don't be afraid to fail, but don't fail to try. And just believe that when you give it your all things are possible.
And that kind of goes into, I mean, any more insight that you have for starting entrepreneurs, or any closing comments or anything like that, or any personal comments you want to make.
Okay, I think the first thing is do your homework. Make sure that you have investigated as thoroughly as you possibly can. And I think it's also important that you have a good idea, but it has to be something that you can internalize, because it's hard. It's not easy to do that. It's easier to go to work and have someone else make all the decisions. But when those decisions are yours, the better prepared you are, the more successful you'll be.
Okay. And do you have any closing comments that you want to make?
Say that again.
So do you have any closing comments that you want to make, or?
It's hard to do it alone. It's important to associate yourself with people who have the knowledge that you have to gain. So I think that being prepared is also finding some mentors, associating with people who have skills that are separate from your skills so that you can learn from each other. And don't feel that you should have someone who always agrees with you. You're much better off to have people who have different opinions so that you can discuss those, learn from each other, and then decide the proper action. And be happy to get up and go to work every day. That's really important. And I think most entrepreneurs can say that. Even when you're faced with things like we have today, with the downturn in the economy, we've had to make some serious adjustments. We've had to look at non-traditional revenue sources. I think we're doing a good job of that, but it certainly is a very trying time.
All right. Well, guess that concludes it. If you're